Hey guys, what's going on? Back again with another video. As you see by the title, this is going to be another Shadows of Evil Black Ops 3 Impossible Easter egg solve. Something I kind of stumbled across, or at the same time kind of made a connection, because I think I've seen these photos before. But like I said, for every video that I solve or every Easter egg that I solve, it's almost like a cipher where it helps you solve other Easter eggs. Basically, if you figure out like a cipher key or whatever decoder you need to solve that cipher, it kind of helps you solve other Easter eggs and other ciphers. So these photos, I believe I've seen a couple months ago, maybe even a couple years ago. But the more I solve stuff, the more I understand how the games are made and how the impossible Easter eggs were put into Shadows of Evil and Black Ops 3. So with all that being said, there's a website you might have seen, again, like I said, you might have seen these photos before, but if you go to GadgetBot, which is a company that does pretty much some storyboards and artwork and maybe some animations for Call of Duty, they have a section for Shadows of Evil, and you get to see some of the concepts, and it's basically concept art for Shadows of Evil. Some of the stuff I think we've never seen put to work, like these 6 symbols or artifacts or whatever you want to call them. I don't think those were ever implemented in the game. Uh, Not that I can think of. I know on the wall in pretty much to go to Pack-a-Punch underneath, you see stuff like that on the wall. I think I'm not 100% sure. So you get to see again the concept for the summoning key, the boxing ring, even um, the whole entire map altogether. Now the stuff that starts sticking out and becomes very suspicious and interesting are the ones at the bottom. This one, I guess, is what we were supposed to put the summoning key in. And I did mention this to another zombie YouTuber, is that when you beat the main Easter egg for Shadows of Evil, the game doesn't end, which means there was supposed to be more steps and more things after that Shadow Man boss fight. And you'll get to see some other stuff that makes you wonder, like what was coming or what else we were gonna do, how big the map was gonna be if you were gonna teleport in. I do have some theories, which I'm gonna go over really quickly when I get to that point. But again, it's just theory. But understanding, like I said, when you solve Easter eggs, you kind of understand now. It opens the door, and you kind of see, well, maybe this was gonna happen. You kind of narrow it down instead of just doing theories, or instead of just kind of shooting darts, whatever, and hope that you hit something. You kind of start understanding how the games were made back then. A lot of it has to do with time and budget, as we all know, and stuff like that. So, again, this is something you might have seen it before, but now you're gonna start understanding how it all fits in. I think some people thought maybe it was just like Sophia, something from Gorod Krovi, but this is all Shadows of Evil. It's all labeled as Shadows of Evil concept art. So again, once you defeated the Shadow Man, or maybe in between, maybe they cut steps and stuff like that. Because as you guys know, there was so much that was cut from a lot of these maps. Get a lot of stuff that was cut. Thinking back, even to Black Ops 2 in Transit and Green Run and stuff like that. But Shadows of Evil looks like it's no different. Or Black Ops 3 looks like it was no different, especially how recently the campaign, leak campaign stuff just came out. I thought it was pretty ironic that that got leaked. Not really leaked, but I guess got put out there. It's not real leaked because it's still up. Somebody somewhere got the okay to release that information. It's not necessarily a leak. I know leak makes it sound very interesting and hypes it up a whole bunch. But somewhere down the line, somebody got the okay to release that information. Because if you go to websites and stuff like that, or YouTube, I think all that information is still out there. It hasn't gotten struck down by Call of Duty or Activision. So somebody got the okay from Activision or Call of Duty to leak the campaign stuff for Black Ops 3. And the fact that this is still up there too is very interesting. Again, this is something that was supposed to be in Shadows of Evil. We were supposed to do something with the summoning key, and then the next thing, and I'm not going to drag it on too much, the Ruby Rabbit was supposed to be called the Pink Rabbit. So again, this is just way back before stuff got changed and finalized, and that looks like the Ruby Rabbit, and I know the area looks a lot different, but I mean that is pretty much the Ruby Rabbit was going to be called a Pink Rabbit. And again, really quickly back to this because I accidentally clicked on it. Again, that looks like the summoning key of some sort. Maybe there were going to be other summoning keys. Maybe we were supposed to collect like summoning keys, or maybe that one looks bigger. There was something similar to this in campaign, funny enough, and even the campaign, Black Ops 3 campaign, it has Dr. Max's in there, and that's a whole nother can of worms that I think I've already talked about. The summoning key looks like that's the summoning key, so I don't know what step was cut in Shadows of Evil. All the stuff we know about, this is Pack-a-Punch. Again, you can kind of see what was going on down here. Maybe we're supposed to go down there. That's the other thing, too. Everybody always says that underneath Pack-a-Punch is a huge area that we never got to experience or go down into. Maybe there were going to be steps to go down there, and it was going to be a whole new area that was going to open up underneath. So again, maybe Shadows of Evil was going to be a huge map, and a lot of stuff was going to get used and utilized, but for some reason, because of the way Jason and Jimmy Zielinski clashed back then, because I think this was originally made by Jimmy Zielinski, then because of the Mob of the Dead stuff and Origin stuff, I guess Call of Duty went the Jason Blundell route and the Primus and Ultimus route. But again, this can also explain underneath Pack-a-Punch. We're probably supposed to go down underneath and do some stuff in the area underneath Pack-a-Punch. Maybe you're going to be able to move about a whole lot of different places. Again, and this is the one that made me very interested in all this, is the fact that Revelations was cut from Shadows of Evil and became its own map. So I guess when you look at it, maybe, and if you listen to one of the radios on Shadows of Evil, I think Maxis says he's going to destroy, I think it was Maxis, says he's going to destroy, that dimension, and I know that happens in the Revelation cutscene. Maxis, the big reveal was Maxis became the Shadow Man because he fiddled with the summoning key, and then it controlled Maxis, or Maxis, wanted all the power, so he kind of brought in the Apothicons. Maybe he wanted revenge because of Samantha. There's so many backstories, but if you look at it, I know people are going to say they just label it wrong, but when you look at it and you know the story for Lovecraft and all his different stories, looks like it's the farmhouse where the rock fell, and the color out of space. So that's one thing there, that it looks like this is supposed to be like the farmhouse, or maybe the town or countryside. Maybe we go back in time, because if you look at some of this stuff, and it's going to explain a lot. The Call of Cthulhu, which is basically the Cthulhu mythos and all his stories, are pretty much based in Providence, Rhode Island. And this might have been like Providence, Rhode Island, or maybe somewhere in New England. I know there's telephone radios in Shadows of Evil that talks about, the farm and the stuff that happened a long time ago. Maybe we're going to get a flashback, and maybe we're going to see how it all started. I know Revelations is the beginning, how everything happened. Again, this is pretty interesting that Revelations was originally going to be part of Shadows of Evil, and then they probably just cut it, and then for time, and I know they were doing Zombie Chronicles, so maybe Zombie Chronicles would cut into a lot of the time. So instead of creating the London map, that's the other thing too, the London map never happened. They probably cut it. So they probably said, we're not going to have time for the London map, so let's cut the London map, and let's break up Shadows of Evil, put Revelations at the end as DLC 4, which is also the beginning, explaining how everything came about. Again, this is more of Shadows of Evil, and then you get another piece of what Shadows of Evil was going to look like. Again, this is probably Providence, Rhode Island, or New England, and we're probably going to teleport to it and destroy, the Shadows of Evil dimension, I guess I'll call it. I think in the radio it says, like, he's sorry to all the people in the dimension or something like that, because he's going to destroy it. So again, it shows that Revelations was originally part of Shadows of Evil. What I think my theory is the fact that underneath Shadows of Evil, after you do the Pack-a-Punch and maybe a couple Easter egg steps, there is a portal I think you click on, and then it plays that radio. Maybe we're gonna teleport into that. Kind of the same thing with transit, because that was supposed to be the whole bus route. Was supposed to be a portal was supposed to open up, and you were supposed to teleport to bus route B location, maybe Hanford site and stuff like that. So maybe they took some of those ideas from Green Run and Transit, because I think what was supposed to happen, and the rumor is, and the people that worked with Treyarch, is the debris at bus route B from transit, you click on it and then it teleports you in, or portal opens up and you go to bus route B. I'm just assuming underneath Shadows of Evil there's a portal that you click on and it starts playing some audio. Think it plays the audio, and then maybe you're supposed to teleport into the new broken location. Maybe you get a cutscene and then you teleport in. Maybe same thing as what happened with Outbreak. You teleport to different locations. So now, with that being said, knowing now that Revelations was part of Shadows of Evil, it made me start thinking about Providence, Rhode Island. So it does explain a lot, and it shows how everything's going to get changed. So this is the bus routes for Morg City, and that is actually a duplicate of Providence, Rhode Island. So if you see how all three sections converge into one, and it has a little bit of a bend right here. If you go to here, that's the bend. I know it's flipped like upside down, but this is, I guess, Shadows of Evil originally was Providence, Rhode Island, because of Jason Blundell, Mob of the Dead story and Origins. They changed it to Chicago, which is interesting. Again, you see how everything looks exactly like Providence, Rhode Island. And if you zoom in, funny enough, there is a street called Blackstone Street, which of course now I'm not going to find. So, we have narrow Blackstone, so that's probably why Blackstone was going to be in. And there's a Willard for probably Willard Wyler, because everything all ties into that also. That's a whole nother can of worms that people might not know about. Again, narrow Blackstone and Blackstone Drive was probably an Easter egg. But again, I think it has more to do with the fact that Jason changed it to Chicago to fit into his story. And originally Jimmy was working on this. This Shadows of Evil, I think, should be more credit to Jimmy Zielinski than Jason, because I think the Zombies team was working on Shadows of Evil first, and then Jason came in and changed stuff to fit his storyline. And of course, unfortunately, Jimmy got fired because everybody liked his map. Not everyone, but the squeaky wheel gets the oil type deal, and the big zombie YouTubers that complain about everything complain that they liked Jason's story a lot better, and stuff like that. So the other thing too, Providence. Okay, so this is Providence, Rhode Island, if you haven't seen that yet or caught on, and that's where this was taking off of. So instead of, and I guess he maybe changed it to, I don't know if Morg City was originally going to be the name. I don't think Morg City was going to be the name. I think that was changed also. But again, Providence, Rhode Island has a theater, and that's why we have our theater that looks exactly like that theater. Like that should say Providence. But I'm sure they probably cut all that and changed it a little bit. I think if they made it look exactly like it, then maybe people would have caught on, like, wait, this isn't Chicago. I do like the idea of Black Ops 2 where I think the story was the nuke hit and everything got jumbled all together. All the dimensions got all jumbled. I know that's kind of what we did in Cold War, where once you use the particle accelerator, stuff kind of started blending together. So again, this theater is the Providence theater that exists in real life. This whole thing is Providence, Rhode Island. We just happened to put Shadow of Chicago and the Chicago era, I think, in it. And I think they put in a couple more Chicago locations and changed a lot of things to fit Jason's story a little bit better. But again, you'll see that this is Providence movie theater. and then the whole thing, if you zoom out too, you'll see how that looks like the train. And then the only thing I would have to cross-reference it from is the Hellboy comic movies. I have to see where that's based out of. I would love to know, and I'll have to go watch the movie, because a lot of Shadows of Evil is taken from Hellboy also. So that's the other thing. Again, if you don't see it, this is kind of what Morg City's bus route is based off of, and a lot of it was probably cut. Again, if you go think about the Easter egg steps, what was going to come, what we were supposed to do, because if you look at the main Easter egg, it doesn't end after you defeat the Shadow Man and put him inside the summoning key, and then Richtofen steals the summoning key. I'm quite interested to find out. I mean, we'll never know, but if you rack your brain or think about it, what you think would have happened after Richtofen steals the summoning key, or the other thing too, Victus was supposed to be the future. Like, I think premise was over with the moon. They died on the moon, and they were stuck on the moon. The next story was supposed to be Victus and their story, and I think that was going to be the new crew. So you have to kind of think now, like, how Victus would have fit into Shadows of Evil and stuff like that. So I don't know how. The only thing I can think of too is if this, I know it's different, so I don't want to go too crazy, but if you go to the Shadows of Evil and the farm, I wonder if they were going to say that maybe that's the farm, Misty's farm and stuff like that, where the rock fell and stuff like that. But you would have to know the Lovecraft stories. But it is cool to find out and finally see and understand that this is probably Providence, Rhode Island, New England. And, you know, I don't think they would have went back to it in DLC 4. I think maybe it was just Shadows of Evil was going to be this huge map. And then everything got cut. Again, the other cool thing you have to realize, if you look in underneath Shadows of Evil, a lot of that probably got scrapped, because people said, a lot of people, including myself, have been asking, like, why is it so detailed underneath Shadows of Evil? So that was probably going to be a big area we're going to go down underneath. I don't know what they were going to do underneath there. And then a lot of this got cut also from Shadows of Evil. We're probably going to go back in time. At a certain point, you probably get teleported back into, you know, you get teleported into what looks like Revelations. So that's pretty interesting how, I guess, somehow, maybe, I'm just going to assume this device, whoever created it, destroys the Shadows of Evil universe. I know I should probably go back and play the campaign some more, because that's going to explain a lot. But again, this device, you probably put the summoning key in there, and it probably destroyed Shadows of Evil and destroyed the universe. But I guess we'll never know at this point, unless Jason Blundell or Jimmy Zielinski ends up talking about what was going to happen with Shadows of Evil. Anyways, again, it's pretty cool to know that now that, you know, it was originally going to be Providence, Rhode Island, not Chicago. Anyways, I'll see you guys there.